Good morning everyone. Welcome back to the class. I hope you people are safe and good at your home. And if you are maintaining your timetable, and before that if you have created your timetable and maintaining according to that, then it will be very good. Please follow your timetable. Maintain your good health. Wear mask when you go outside. Make use of a sanitizer. And think positively. Be happy. Cultivate cheerfulness among you, then work hard. So this year it demands more hard work from you people. So as you make more hard work, you will get a more marks. Then as you make hard work, you will get a knowledge, is it not? So because of that knowledge, we can get a more marks. It's easy to get a marks when you have more knowledge. So work hard. I hope you people are having a reference book with you all. So if you have your own reference book, more than one or two, then it will be very good. You can refer into the different types of questions. Then you will not be getting a doubt and confusions in understanding the questions in the board examinations. So okay, we'll come back to our discussion. We were discussing about this third chapter from our last class. As I told before, this chapter will not be included in your board examinations. You will not get a questions about this chapter what we are discussing now, making of global world. You will not get a questions on this chapter in a board examinations, but you will get a questions in your preparatory. So this is for the preparatory. This chapter will be discussing for the preparatory examinations. So you will be included this chapter for preparatory. So for that you will discuss main concept. You will discuss every concept. So there we will stress into the main things in the main concepts. So we are starting to discuss about 19th century in the last class. Is not the 19th century, what are the changes as brought in the 19th centuries. The economic life has taken shape there, means it has gone for the negative phase because of the government. They have started to extract more work from the people, and they have started to acquire the more lands under their control. Many peoples were made as the laborers for the upper class peoples, and it has led for the social evils and also economic crisis because of a food shortage due to the increase in the population that has led unemployment. So it has created the problem in the social and the society life of a people. So that directly affect into the economy. Is it not? So then we have discussed about all these things. Importing, exporting of goods got abolished. They have brought a new law. So because of that, there was many choirs, different words and different debates among them. So then they have abolished the corn law. That has led many further problems in the economic life of Britain. So that we have discussed. The role of a technology. After the technology got implemented or introduced, so they have developed in that industrialization. Then also they have adopted the machines technology in shifting the meat and the animals, in transferring the animals from one place to another places. Where they were earlier they were traveling, so they were transferring the animals by the use of a ship. Then they used to get died before reaching the Britain from America. So that they have introduced the refrigerator ship. So that they got somewhat increase in the economic life of there. Then 19th century colonization, not only the Europe, not only the Africa and America was taken as a colonial area by the Britain. The India also taken as a colonial area. So India was ruled by the Britishers, called as colonial rule, and same like India, the Britain were also ruled by the Britishers. Sorry, not Britain. The Africa also was ruled by the Britain, means Britishers, and also America was also ruled by the Britishers. So that's what we discussed in the last chapter, and also we have discussed about the reindeer pest, cattle plague, which has started in the last concept. In the last class we discussed about this reindeer pest. It's a diseases, cattle diseases or cattle plague that has made African to go under the problem, because Africans, they were leading their life in the activity of rearing animals. They were getting a basic needs and the wages from the animals by rearing animals. But when the cattle plague, when the animal which is which is affected by the illness, it has transferred from the Asia to Africa. There, that animal, it has got spread the diseases of cattle plague to all the animals which was there in Africa. Gradually, the African territory, African areas got it to affect by this cattle plague, rinderpest. So then many animals, most of the animals got died. So most of the people, they came on the road without having any job and the livelihood. So the Britain people, they have taken it as a chance, and they have started to make the dominations against them by giving some basic needs, and they have started to make them as the Britons, they have made them to work as a labor in the labor market. They have started to send, and they have started to export and import the human labors. Earlier, in between the two countries, they were exporting and importing the goods, food grains. Then afterwards, they have started to make use of ship and many other means of transportation to transfer the animals. For the flesh, it may be for another activity. So they are started to transfer the animals from one place to another places. Then now, the Britons, they have started to transfer the humans as a human labor to other countries. The America was under the control of Britons, is not. So the Africa had more laborers, means they were hard workers, Africans. So now the Britain, they found mineral resources in America. They found many resources in America. Now there is not having, they don't have much laborers in America. So the Britain, they have taken the African peoples as a labor into the America. That's how the African American people, they have gone there. They are called as African American people. So they are gone there. The ancient people of America are there now also. Means they are hereditary is there now also. Their son and grandson, they are now. They are from Africa. So this all things happened because of this Europe, is it not? So they are taken from the Europe to the America. Same like in the India also it has happened. So that's what we will be discussing. So it is called as indentured labor migration from India. Indentured labor. Indentured, that is nothing but hiring a labor on the basis of what do you call for that? On the basis of 3 years or 4 years sign. By having some agreement, on the basis of agreement, hiring a laborers for 3 or 4 years on the basis of agreement. It's called as indentured labor. They can give any type of work for the laborers in 4 years or 5 years. Suppose for 5 years, the Indian laborers are taken away from India to the Africa or America for England or any for the Britain. Suppose the Indians were taken to the Britain or America for 5 years, for the duration of 5 years under the agreement. For the duration of 5 years, they should not leave the job. They should not come back to the India. They should not go anywhere, means they should not escape from the places. They will be having some security, and for the 5 years they would be given, means they would have given with, they would be given with a more work. It may be for the 18 hours a day and the 12 hours a day and 20 hours a day. They will be given with more burden they have to do for the 5 years. Such was indentured labor. Now we will be looking into the meaning of indentured labor. Indentured labor means a bonded laborer under contract to work for an employer for a specific amount of a time. On the basis of contract and the agreement, the labor will be hired from India. They will be taken away from India to the other countries under the leadership of Britishers. That was happened. It brought higher income for some and poverty for the others. It brought higher income for the some. Means some people, they got more income because of this indentured labor activity. Who are those fellows who got more income? The fellows who were collected the labors, whoever brought the labors from India, they got money. But labors, indentured labors of India, they didn't. They have become very poor. So here agents will be there. So agents of India, they got more money because the agents work is to get more labors to the British government. So that was their work. Then British government, they were giving a money for them according to the labors, indentured labors which they have collected. So because of that they got more money, they have increased. But in other hand, the indentured laborers of India, they were become very poor. Some people, they didn't come back. So we'll discuss about that. The cause of migration of Indian indentured labor. What was the reason for migration? What is the reason for migration of Indian indentured laborers into the other places? Most came from the present day regions of East Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Central India and Tamil Nadu. Most of the indentured laborers which they have taken at that time, they were from East Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and the Bihar and Central India. They were from these places. These regions of India experienced many social changes like cottage industry, decline. Because of this, the indentured laborers, which the Britons, they have taken the indentured labor from India to the other countries. Because of that, the India lost a cotton industry activities. It has declined because the workers, they were the cotton textile industry workers. They were skilled workers. They were talented workers. The Indians were talented and skilled workers in this all cotton textile, in the handloom. They were talented, is it not? They are taken as laborers into other countries. Because of that, the cotton textile industries declined in the quality and the production also declined. And rent rose and the lands were cleared for mines and plantation. Now the situation is, the story is like this. Britishers who were ruling India, where they have got a carter, they got a notice from the British who are there in the Britain. The British, they have sent a notice to the Britishers who are there in India to get a labor. So now the British government, they have appointed some the agencies. Now agencies, they were started to collect the laborers, Indian laborers. So their desire was to get a more laborers so that they will get more money. I got it. That agency, they wanted to get a more laborers. They wanted to collect more laborers so that they can get a more money. That's the reason they forcefully they taken the laborers, and by giving a vague information, they are giving a wrong information and the wrong offer to the laborers, the consultancies, they were collecting them. They were collecting, means they were carrying, means they were taking agreement. They were selling something different, that only one day, 1 year you have to work in other country. It will be like traveling to the foreign, and you will be enjoying there. You will not be getting with a more work to be done there. So you will not get a much work. And it's like a tour. That they have given a vague information about there, and they have given a wrong offer for the laborers of India. So they were very innocent fellows. They were accepted. They accepted that to work as an indentured labor in other country for 1 year. But after taking them from India to the other countries, they were not allowed to go after 1 year. They got information. They got rules that they have to stay for the 5 years, and they have to do a work. Whatever the work will be assigned by their landlords or any other government peoples. So many peoples, they are suppressed, they have died in between, and many people, they didn't come back. So that reason, that people, the indentured laborers, they were working in India, they were a good worker. Because of them, the economy was somewhat increased. Because of them, they have settled in, most of them, they were settled in the forest as a village people or the tribal. ಅವರು ಕಾಡು ಮನುಷ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನಗಳಾಗಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರು ಯಾರೇ ಬಂದರೂ, ಯಾರೋ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಬಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮರ ಕಡಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ದ ಪೀಪಲ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ allowed anybody to cut the trees, chop the trees and clear the forest, because they were living in the forest. They used to worship the forest. So the reason they didn't allow. But now that people were taken away to the other country, nobody is living. There are some people they are living. So now here the government, British government, they have passed the order to the officials, government officials, to cut the trees to construct industries and for the dam and many other important buildings. So now they have chopped the trees. The cotton textile industry got declined, and they have cleared all the forest for the construction and for the plantation, because Indian staple food is rice, and we are growing more wheat and rice and other important barley. We were growing most of these crops, food crops we were growing, and whatever we were making growing, means whatever the crops we were cultivating at that time was for our sufficient, means it's to get a sufficient for the self need. It was for the use of farmers and the family members. Is what ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ನಾನು ರೈತ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವಾಗ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏರಿಯಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇದ್ದರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಓನರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬೆಳೀತಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಈ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಕಾಫಿ ಟೀನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್. ಅವರು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ದ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್. ಟು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ tea and a coffee, they made use of Indians as a labor. They have put more restrictions and law. They passed a law on the laborers of India, and they extracted more work from the Indians, but they have given a less wages for them. It was conditions which they have created. And after production of a coffee and the tea from their plantation, they used to export that to the Britain, not to India. They were not making use in India. They were not selling in the market of India. They were exporting to the Britain. The Britain people, they were taking help of these raw materials with a low price. They were getting that, and they were leading life. They were enjoying their life. It was a condition. In 19th century, indenture described as new system of slavery. It has become a new system of slavery. The slavery system, it has got abolished under the Akbar rule, is not. Before that, it was a slavery system, and somewhat the Akbar has abolished the slavery system. Then again, in under the British government rule, it's again implemented, and in a new way. It's called as indentured labor. It's also called as a system of slavery. But workers discovered their own way of surviving. Many of them escaped into the wild, and though if caught by faced several punishment. Many of them who have gone for the other areas, other countries as indentured laborers from India. Some people, they escaped. Actually, they had a rule that they should not escape, but they have got successful in escaping to the other areas. Many people, they got escaped. Most of them, they have adjusted themselves to be survive, means to survive in this place. They are adjusted. They have taken that places, means the Indians were taken to the other country as a labor workers for the 5 years. Even after the completion of 5 years, they were not allowed to come back to the India. So they have started to adjust with the works, and they started to survive there. But some people, they were got success in escaping. They escaped to some other places, they gone. Some people, they caught by the officials, they caught by this the landowners and other things, other fellows. So they have put them under some punishments. You know, the people, most of the people were taken to the Caribbean, the islands in between the North America and South America. Caribbeans are there. They have taken Indians to the Caribbean as workers for the plantation or for many other works. They have taken Indians, indentured laborers, to there under the British rule. There are most of the people, they have survived, means they have started to live there, because they need to cross the ocean. If they want to come back to the India by escaping there, they need to cross the ocean. They didn't have any chance of crossing the ocean, Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean. They didn't have any chance to cross the ocean. to come back to the India, because they were made to live in the island. The island was covered by the water in all sides, so they were not able to come back. So that they have survived there itself. Now also there are people. Somewhat the half of Caribbeans, West Indians are Indians. They are Indians. The Indian origin means their ancient ancestors are Indians. They are still living there. Such like Rampal is Indian. Then Sunil Narayan is Indian. Then there are many people Indian cricket. It's just an example. So Rampal and Sunil Narayan, there are so many people, Indian cricketers are there in West Indies. They are from India, means their origin, means ancestors are Indians. Most of them, they are there in the West Indies, they are Indians. So that's how the many people of Indian indentured laborers, they have started to continue their life there as like the citizens of that country. It was continued same like that. Riotous carnival in Trinidad, when workers of all races of religions joined to the celebration. Here in the West Indies, there in the Caribbean, so all the workers of Indian workers and the Caribbean workers, they are joined together for the celebration. It's a religious celebration. That means races, they had different races, it's not different color of skin. So they are joined together for celebration of religion festivals called as Osai. So riotous carnival in the Trinidad, it's a place which is there in the Caribbean. So similarly, the protest religion of Rastafarianism, made famous by the Jamaican reggae star, the Bob Marley. You might be knowing about Bob Marley. He is a revolutionist. Bob Marley is a great revolutionist in the Jamaica, the West Indies there. He has conducted the Rastafarianism. He conducted the religious protest Rastafarianism. So it's also said to reflect social and culture link with Indian migrant to the Caribbean. It's a link. So most of the Indians are there in the Caribbean island. In the West Indies, there are most of the Indians, because the Indians who were gone there as indentured laborers, they got a help, they got a support from this Bob Marley. He has supported Indians and Indian culture. So Indian culture and Caribbean culture got mixed. They have joined all these cultures and they have created their own cultures. They are supported. And also the chutney music also created over there, which is the mixture of Indian and also Caribbean music. Chutney music, Italy chutney music. The popular in Trinidad and Guyana, in another creative contemporary expression of the post indentured expressions. So here, this how the indentured laborers, it has created in India, and also it has become a system of slavery at that time. Most of them are found in other countries and the continents. Some of them are Indians, like in the Caribbean, the America also there are some Indian origins. In the Britain also there are some Indian origins. They are from India. In South Africa, in Africa also there are most of the Indians. Asim Amla is from India. So their ancestors were Indians. So many people were gone there for as a work. For getting indentured labor, maybe to get a job opportunity. Many Indians, they have traveled to the whole world. Now in everywhere there are some portions of a population of Indians in other countries. So that's about this indentured labor what we discuss. So now we will discuss about the next concept, the interwar economics. Interwar economic. Here, so in between the war, the First World War was mainly fought in Europe. The First World War, which is mainly fought in the Europe, in between the two group of countries. One group is Allies, and another group is Axis. Allies group of countries are France, Britain, and Russia. France, Britain, Russia, they are called as Allies. And central power axis are Germany, Hungary, Austria, then Ottoman Turkey. Germany, Hungary, Austria, then Ottoman Turkey. These are the two group. One group means three countries in one group called as Axis. these three countries, one group in the Allies. So they had a First World War. So these three group, it may be Germany, Hungary, Austria, and Ottoman Turkey. These three groups are three countries led by the monarchy. These three countries that led by the democratic country, means not much democratic. It was having somewhat partially democratic, revolutionaries, liberals, and the racialism. So they had different types of a government in there. So they had led a war. So that's what happened. That during this time, the world experienced economic, political instability and another miserable war. So what happened there? So this First World War has happened in the Europe. How did the whole world got impact of this First World War? It's called as a First World War. It's called as a World War because most of the countries got involved. Means the six countries got involved in the First World War, and these countries, they had control on other countries. Means the Allies, the Britain, they had a control on Africa also. Means they had a colonial rule in Africa. The Britons, they had a colonial rule in India. So as they were started to have a First World War, the Britain, they started to threaten Indians because India was under the control of Britishers. They started to ask the Britishers to provide the needs for the army. Now the people of India, they were suffering because they need a food for the Britain army. They need a cloth. They need a cloth for constructing their tent. They need some machines. It's all taken from the India. Indian people were troubled. They were forced to grow the more crops for the feeding the armies of Britain. And Britons now, they are also troubling Africans. The Western and Eastern Asia also troubled by this Britain. So that's how the whole world got somewhat problem. It was economically they faced a problem because of these countries. So that's what it's called as, it's affected to the whole world. And the politically instability, it got instability, and the economically it's got instability. The First World War was fought between two power bloc, and one were the Allies, Britain, France, and Russia, and later joined the US and USA, and other opposite side Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Ottoman Turkey. So these three country got added with the USA. Then when the USA got entered into the First World War, then the face of a First World War it's changed. The face means the result of a First World War is got because of a USA when it has entered into the First World War. So here the four countries and the three countries got together, fought together. Then the Allies got victory and the Axis got defeated. The war lasted for the 4 years. And that's what we discuss, and we will continue this main concept in the next class. I hope you understood. Thank you. Have a nice day.